You didn't have to live in North Vancouver to know about or to dine on, the Seven Seas Floating Restaurant, another fixture of yesterday's Lower Mainland dining scene. With support from his dad, at the age of just 20, Diamond Almas got the Seven Seas up and running in 1959. The restaurant, afloat near the bottom of Lonsdale, had been reborn from a ferry that once ran from the foot of Lonsdale and downtown Vancouver. Definitely part of a food family, Diamond's father and uncle started and owned the King Neptune Seafood Restaurant at the foot of 8th in New Westminster. The Seven Seas was the place to go, and service was invariably the best. Diamond used to hire Canadian Pacific Airlines stewards on the weekends. They knew their job, and they were also great at steering out-of-towners into the restaurant. Diamond served a term as alderman for the city of North Vancouver and another for the district. Among his hundreds of friends, he counted Big Frank Ross, the Cave's Ken Stauffer, Frank Baker, and Ross Filipponi of the Penthouse. Sea buses now ply the route once taken by the ferry that was to become the Seven Seas. Memories of this grand and quirky fixture remain. We welcome pioneer Diamond Almas into the BC Restaurant Hall of Fame.
And welcoming Diamond Almas of the Seven Seas Restaurant into the Hall of Fame is Peter Speck.
Well, Diamond, you know, in the 40 years or so that I've known you, I never did ask you, how did you get into the restaurant business in the first place?
Well, Peter, as you know, my family was in and around the food industry for many, many years. My father had a fruit stand, and then eventually he and his brother opened up the King Neptune. Shortly after that, my dad got out of the Neptune and opened up the Hippocampus, which was a sort of a little takeout place. He was sort of semi-retired.
It was on Denman, wasn't it?
And that was on Denman Street. It was a wonderful, wonderful atmosphere. And so when the opportunity was presented to us to take the old North Vancouver ferry and convert it into a restaurant, of course I was 20 years old. I was full of vinegar and what have you. I was just married, and I was having a child on the way, and I wanted this. This is really what I really wanted to get into. I was always proud of my dad and my uncle, because they were, you know, entrepreneurs in those days. And so anyways, that's how I got into it, and I loved it for all those years. 42 years I was in business down there, and it was very special.
How much did the ferry cost?
Well, originally we bought the vessel from the city of North Vancouver for $10,000, but it cost us $140,000 to convert it, which was an incredible amount of money. And you know, when you're 20 years old and you're dealing with bankers and lawyers, and when they see a young guy, they really started putting the pressure on me. And we damn near lost the vessel in the early days, but we were able to put it together and kept on going. But it was quite strange at times.
So, some people say that a boat is a hole in the water into which you pour money. And this was a magnificent hole in the water, 150 feet long and 50 feet wide. And how much money do you think you poured into that hole in the water over all those years?
It was at least somewhere between $2 to $3 million over the years.
That's it.
But you know, at times, like my father was Greek, my mother was Swedish, and they had good values of working and what have you. But I wondered at times as whether or not I was actually either Greek or Swedish. I thought maybe I was Dutch, because I kept on putting my hand or finger in the hole in the bottom of the ship there, you know. I was just a little Dutch boy there, but it was kind of fun. Didn't you have a guest
come on once, a guest that came on board and said, "Diamond, why is the gangplank pointing down? How didn't that happen?"
Oh yeah, I used to have the marina down there at the foot of Lonsdale as well, and one of the guests I had that docked there was an airline pilot. And when he was off duty, he used to drink quite a bit, and we used to have a lot of fun. So this guy wandered up, and it was on a Saturday night. It was really, really busy, and I get a short fuse at times, and he comes up and he says, "Dime, you know, I think you're sinking." And I said, "Oh, shit, Arthur, get out of here, you know." And he says, no, he says, "Really, seriously," I said, "It really is happening. I'm really scared for you." And I said, "Good God, what have you been doing?" He says, I know, I've been sitting on the back deck there drinking, but honestly, it's sinking." And so I said, "Oh, okay, I'll come down." So I rushed down, and as he said on the way down, he says, "You know, the ramp is going down. That's really what's happening. It's not going up, it's not going down." I said, "Oh, Arthur." So anyways, I go down, and he was right. So I whipped down into the engine room, and sure enough, water was coming up. So anyways, the long and short of it, I got a hold of Kate's tugs, which were great buddies, and helped me out. It turned out it was a intake pipe for the primer. So it was, instead of taking water out, it was pulling water in. So that was quite an atmosphere. But, you know, a wooden ship like the old North Vancouver Ferry wooden ships are, they're damn near alive. You know, you get a feel for them, and in a way you get a tremendous love for them. It's more than just a building. It's part of you. It's just, you know, it's got great mysteries for you. I used to have a lot of the kids that came from different schools, the little kindergarten kids, grade 1s and 2s. And of course they would like to come on board, and I would serve them some fish and chips and some pop and that kind of stuff, and then take them on a tour. And I used to always tell them the story of Long John Silver, who was down in the hold. And I said, if you could hear, you know, listen. And of course with Kate's next door, every time they started up one of their tugs, it would rattle. It's sort of in the water. You could hear, you know, something unusual, and it would come vibrate through my ship. And we'd listen, and sure enough, they could hear the chains. And these little kids with big eyes would wander around, whoa, you know, Captain Long John's on board, and how did he get here, and all this. And I had a lot of fun. So it wasn't all hard work. It was a lot of love, and I was fortunate to have an awful lot of children. I have 6 children, and each one of them, in some part, worked on board the ship with me, and you know, it's great memories. But you know, everything has to end, and it had to. But anyways, that's about what happened.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. That's very kind. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is a great honor. Obviously, I'm kind of long-winded, and I'll cut it short. And thank you very much again, from the bottom of my heart and from all my family. Thank you.